Good morning, everyone. Tuesday, the 15th of November, and 10 o'clock in the morning here in Cape Town. And there's a fair bit plenty going on with the weather across the fleet, which is now spread out quite considerably. Interesting to look at Jean-Luc Vanity, nearly 2,000 miles in front of Simon here, and part of that is because he did get a big break, but also everyone's running about 10 days or more behind the average speed of the fleet from 2018. So plenty of breeze here, which we'd alerted the fleet to, the leaders to previously, so they're now experiencing that, but it seems to be going okay. And at the back end, things are not looking good for Guy Waits and Arnaud with their progress heading towards Cape Town. It's interesting because there is always this, I've mentioned it many times, excuse me, the tactic of if you're going to go to Cape Town, you get down here into the roaring 40s, which is down in this latitude here, that's 40th parallel of latitude, and work your way, just keep coming south till you get a push, and then keep heading to the east, and when you think you're coming up from the southwest, you head up towards Cape Town. Now, what's going on here, you also know if you're in this zone, you've got a southerly wind, then you know that you're on the leading edge of a high, or it could be interacting with a low, of course, but the highs go in a counterclockwise direction like this, and this is bad news for Arnaud and Guy for the next 4 or 5 days. It's not going to be a big help for them. Basically what will happen is you'll see this is a South Atlantic high forming up about where they usually start, and then they slowly progress. I'll animate this. So this is coming across every hour or so. You can see they've got a southerly, it's not too bad, but it's going to swing towards the southeast as this centre of the high comes across. You can see it's got a southeasterly component in it straight away, so they're immediately trying to sail to windward to get to the east. This is only not even 24 hours away, so they're going to be struggling with that, and the risk will be that they then decide to go on to a starboard tack, which heads them up into the northeasterly direction, which gets them even further away from the 40th parallel. So this will go on for a couple of days as the centre of the high comes up. You can see now they're going to have get more and more to the easterly wind as they get towards the centre. And by this stage they'll be in around here somewhere, but if you look down here all the way along the 40th, you've got good following breezes, so you've got to somehow try and get to the other side of it. And certainly if they were down here now, they'd be having a good run for many days. This is the 18th, it's still going there. If they're at the top, they've either got not much wind or headwinds. So it's a real challenge for them now. I think Ian's probably going to be okay. He's, by the look of it, leading in there. He'll be having a southerly till the last minute, and maybe he'll be in the right side of this, because this is now 3 days ahead, and so on. But Guy and Arnaud are going to be really challenged with this whole sort of South Atlantic high moving up and becoming the dominant factor for the weather for the week ahead. You've got it all here, so they're at the same level of the high, and that's basically the trap. That's the challenge. That's getting a little bit back to more traditional type weather, and it's not the place to be directly to the west of Cape Town. So watch this space, but yeah, they're going to be really struggling, which is unfortunate, but that's the name of the game. And all the pilot books, all the square riggers, all the recommendations for coming to into Cape Town is to get down to the 40th parallel and sail along and then head up. So moving now into the and so at the moment, Guy's making 2.1 knots. This is the real-time current weather image. Arnaud is doing 3 knots, this is, they're trying to get down to the south, but it's slow progress indeed. Ian Herbert Jones 5.6 knots, doing okay. He'll clip ahead there and keep up with a few things. Elliot's doing 5.7. The winds have backed off for him now, but he's made pretty good ground in the last day or so, and that will hold. If we just pull this forward for them in wind direction, but not strength. That will be the next challenge. I'll bring this up. It's going to go light for a couple of days, so you can see now that's a day ahead. Is the next day, generally light, but it's southerly. The wind direction's okay for them for a while. So yeah, slow progress, but at least they're making progress. We're going to actually, I can see now, we will actually not be here for Elliot and Ian and Arnaud and Guy Waits in Cape Town, but our illustrious team of Rian and Pete and Eve and we'll see who's there. But they're taking over the operation for us with the rib from the Royal Cape Yacht Club. So don't worry, Ada and I won't be here, but there will be someone to pick up the films and video the whole thing and talk to the entrance and so on. So that's kind of cool. Now we'll go into Erton's ETA. He's come back to today's weather. It was surprising. His previous speeds, okay, he's up to 4.2, but he was very slow during the night. I'm not sure why, because it's a solid breeze. You'd think he'd be making 5 or 6 knots all the time. Still only doing 4.2, taking it easy. Part of that might be the sea state. If we look at the waves, he might be just trying to stay comfortable there. The sea is building. That's 4 to 5 metres there, and Jeremy's picking up a big sea following up behind. He's still making 5.5 knots, so he'd be happy with that. And his course is down a little bit. It's not directly heading to Cape Town, but that will be probably because of the sea state and so on. He's got some pretty solid winds, and at least he's moving quite well. So that's all okay. Now the ETA for Erton is something like this. So we're saying now early hours of tomorrow morning. It'll depend what speed he makes. He's still basically 100 miles from Cape Town, and the weather's holding reasonably well, so he'll hold the breeze. If we blow this up, you'll see what's happening here. I'll animate it through for the next 24 hours, so every one of these is an hour. There's plenty of breeze all through there, coming into 9 o'clock tonight. It's starting to back off, but he'll only be about here at that stage, so he's still got this bit of breeze to keep coming, and then it moves back in. It's pulsating. That was at sort of dusk. Now it's dark, so he's still in this wind band, and I think he'll hold that because he'll be in here. This is at 1:30 in the morning. He's getting close. He's probably due to arrive about 4 o'clock in the morning if he's making 4 or 5 knots. In the Chinese games, I don't play these games, by the way. It's just a bloody Chinese Microsoft. Long story. Anyway, so he's due in. I'd say anywhere from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in tomorrow morning, but it'll depend on his actual speed. That's at 2 o'clock in the morning. The weather there's 4 o'clock, so there's enough breeze to bring him around the corner. So we'll update that again this afternoon, and let you know when he's coming. We'll be out there, and he'll be happy to see everyone here. And then he's not stopping for any work. He's already said he's going to make it straight the way through. So that's that one. Then we'll now come down to the Midfield. This was an interesting one. Goog's holding to the south or southeast. I'm not sure why, because that's a solid breeze here. He's obviously got it in his mind to get south as quick as he can, but when it's like this, normally you would be heading southeast. Southeast is fine. Again, it could be sea state, there's big seas, but then again he's taking it on the beam. And then I thought, maybe he's hooked up in a current or something. When we look at the currents, he's not there yet, but he's now heading direct to a head current, which he wouldn't know about here. So I'm surprised, that he's not heading off in the southeast, but everything's well. We're not receiving any tough messages at the moment. So that's it. While we're onto the currents here, Abelish is about to get a bit of a kick on this one here, going north. Kirsten's in the clear. Tapio is as well, but he's coming across. He'll transit this one, this section here going across. He's got it on the beam, and the wind at the moment is northerly, so it's the wind and current are together. So the sea state could be a little bit organised. Kirsten's got a push there, and if we come across to Simon, he's pretty much out of the Agulhas current now. These are just normal ocean currents. If I decrease the size, you'll see the relevance of that. This is all the Agulhas current activity, and Simon's clear now. He's getting close to the zone here. I was surprised because you have to allow enough room when the northwesterly comes in. When you look at the wind, usually you want to be a couple of degrees away, because if a northwesterly comes, you're going to be pushed down. You need running room. And yes, we give them consideration in storms and stuff, but you can't run right along the edge, and as soon as a northwesterly comes, you dip in straight away. That's still a penalty, within reason. I mean, every case is different, but if we see someone running down the edge and then they complain, they've got to go south because of a northwesterly, you have to remember that the weather down here is always northwesterly preceding a southwesterly change, so you know it's coming. So we treat each case with with due consideration, and in fact sometimes when there's heavy weather coming, we will advise them just to go forget the zone, stay safe, do this. So it's an interesting grey area. that we look at each individual case as it happens. So now just looking here, okay, Goog's doing good time, 5 knots, holding up in the course. Abelish 5.7 knots, Kirsten 5.5, Tapio 4.6, and this is the weather they've got at the moment. We told them this was coming with an alert, and it's not extreme, but it's certainly solid. They're being 6 metre seas there, and I'll animate it through, and you can watch what's going on here. You can decide which boat you want to watch. Simon's got nice sailing situation there, but he's got this northerly coming behind him. And the other guys back here and Kirsten, they're now already into the southwesterlies, which will give them exactly what they're looking for. But it is going to go soft. So this is midday tomorrow, moving pretty fast. Simon's going to run into a hole, which is looking more confused than we projected yesterday. The 3 back here, they're actually going to keep sailing. Simon's going to slow down a bit, so catch up. But now they're certainly absolutely in the Southern Ocean, and this is going to be a continual process of northwest, southwest, maybe some headwinds and stuff as well. We'll just have a look over towards Australia and just see how that's looking here. The good news is holding true that most of the heavy weather is underneath the zone here, but you can see here, for instance, there's a big high pressure system, so you've got southerly, you've got northerly. That's okay, there's no easterly winds. It's going to be interesting to watch them go across, and we wish them well. That's about it. I'm still struggling to get the question and answer sessions up, but hopefully that'll come up today. Yesterday we were very busy with all sorts of things going on, and I won't put a time to it, but I am trying to get that up today because Erton now is in tomorrow morning. So that's it. We'll see you.